In the quiet community of Ray Township, Michigan, a deadly love triangle erupted into violence on July 12, 2022, leaving one woman dead, two men forever scarred, and a family shattered. At the heart of this tragedy were Matthew Lewis Mollicone, his wife Kimberly Ann Mollicone, and her alleged lover Daniele Giannone.
Stay away from my wife!
What began as a confrontation over suspected infidelity quickly escalated into a deadly shootout, leading to heartbreaking consequences.
Let me see your hands now!
It's a complicated story with lots of back and forth, so let's start with
The events unfolded when Matthew, 48, drove with Kimberly to Giannone's home. Matthew, suspecting his wife of rekindling a past affair with Giannone, decided to confront him directly. Tensions between the three had been simmering for years. Giannone, a 39-year-old resident, had previously been romantically involved with Kimberly, but their relationship reportedly ended before the confrontation. Matthew, however, believed the affair had resumed and arrived at Giannone's property determined to put an end to it.
gives a good timeline of what led up to the deadly events. While the affair apparently started years before, Matthew said everything began again on July 12, 2022, when he and his wife discussed her affair. Daniel was in the garage at this point after having a barbecue with his family, and there's actually Ring video of this from earlier in the day.
Ladies, park right there. The door's gonna be locked. I'll open it and bring you cola. Yes. What do you guys want to drink?
I have a Coke.
What sugar?
Giannone was outside grilling on his patio when the Mollicones arrived. Matthew allegedly began the confrontation by shouting, "Stay away from my wife." Witnesses later testified that the encounter quickly grew hostile. Giannone claimed he was taken off guard, stating that he had no idea why Matthew and Kimberly had come to his home. He told Matthew to leave, warning him, "Get out or I'll blow your head off." What started as a heated verbal exchange turned deadly when Matthew pulled out a firearm and began shooting.
I found out about it 6.5 years ago, and I found out about it again 45 days ago. I said to her, "Is it over with?" She said, and I said, "Well, so how did the last conversation go? How'd you end it?" And she didn't. I said, so you didn't end it. So it's the same as last time. You still, it's not ended. You guys didn't break up. So this guy's gonna call you in a month? And she said, "You want me to break up with him?" I said, "That sounds about right."
And you said this has been going on for nine years?
9.5 years.
9.5 years. And did they break it off at any point?
No.
How did this start? Do you have any idea?
They met at a bar somewhere on her 40th birthday. And then I found out when she was 43.
The first shots hit Giannone in the leg, forcing him to retreat into his home. As Giannone fled, he armed himself with another weapon to defend against the continued onslaught. Meanwhile, Matthew and Kimberly got back into their car, but the violence didn't end there. Matthew continued firing out the passenger window of the vehicle as they attempted to back out of the driveway. In the chaos, a bullet struck Kimberly in the neck. The injury proved fatal.
I said, "So how did you break it off?" "Oh, you never broke it off. You haven't seen him since February. You never told him, get lost, stop contacting me." And she goes, "Well, that makes sense." She goes, "I'll break it off." And I said, "All right." She goes, "Let's go now." Just show. He's cheating on his fiancée. She's cheating on me, you know. We went there for her to break. She was going to end it.
So as Matthew describes, he and Kimberly arrived at Daniel's home at about 8:30 or 9 p.m.
The entire confrontation, from start to finish, lasted less than 2 minutes, but had catastrophic results. Over 30 shell casings were recovered from the scene, and Giannone's family, who were inside the home at the time, were left terrorized. They later recounted being trapped inside the house out of fear as the gunfire erupted. Chilling 911 audio revealed the chaos, with a woman screaming about her brother being shot and children bunkering down for safety. The gunfire not only shattered lives but endangered innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire.
I need somebody here right now. Somebody just came shooting in my house.
Who's shooting?
What's happening? Somebody's shooting the house.
Giannone testified in court, recounting the terrifying events of that night. He claimed he acted in self-defense after being attacked and accused Matthew of escalating the confrontation by showing up uninvited with a firearm. Giannone admitted to returning fire, but maintained that he was protecting himself and his family. Prosecutors supported this claim, stating that Matthew's actions created the volatile situation that ended in Kimberly's death.
Arraignment, the judge said their safety adds to the seriousness of the charges, reading all 8 felonies aloud.
Specifically, felony murder, homicide, weapons felony, firearm, assault with intent to murder.
The judge said Mollicone was in possession of cocaine, marijuana, and alcohol. She also said there were allegations.
Despite the defense's arguments, the jury ultimately sided with the prosecution. Matthew was convicted of all charges, including assault with intent to murder, a crime that carries a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. He also faces up to 15 years for voluntary manslaughter and additional time for the firearms offenses. His sentencing, scheduled for mid-2024, will mark the next chapter in this tragic case.
Violence.
All of the facts that have been presented here today would seem to be the culmination of domestic violence allegations. And if proven true, are greatly tragic and very serious for this court to consider.
My wife's been shot.
In a chilling and complex case that has captured the attention of many, 37-year-old Marquise Rochard Glasper stands accused of the murder of his wife, Crystal Lynch. Despite her body not being found, the prosecution believes they have gathered enough evidence to charge Glasper with her killing. Crystal was reported missing on May 7th, and 6 months later her husband was arrested and charged with murder, unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, and tampering with evidence, a human corpse.
A man accused of murdering his wife and disposing of her body is set to go before a judge tomorrow. Houston police believe Marquise Glasper killed 35-year-old Crystal Lynch back in May. Court documents show he believed she was having an affair. Family tells us they are desperate to learn where Lynch's body is. Last night, a judge denied Glasper bond on the murder charge.
The timeline of Crystal Lynch's disappearance began on May 7th, a day when her family and friends lost contact with her, leading to the immediate concern for her whereabouts. Glasper, her husband, initially claimed to have been the last person to see her alive. According to Glasper, the two were together in their apartment on West Gulf Bank Road in northwest Houston, but he has been tight-lipped about what happened after that moment. This silence has fueled suspicion, especially considering the mounting physical evidence found by investigators in the months that followed.
Do I want it to be true? No. I don't want to think that he could have did this thing.
One key element that led to Glasper's arrest was the statement of a witness who claimed that Glasper had discovered his wife allegedly having an affair with another man. This revelation reportedly sent Glasper into a violent rage, during which he allegedly threatened to harm Crystal if she ever cheated on him again. Prosecutors suggest that these threats, combined with the mounting evidence against Glasper, led them to believe he is responsible for his wife's disappearance.
A man accused of murdering his wife and disposing of her body is set to go before a judge tomorrow. Houston police believe Marquise Glasper killed 35-year-old Crystal Lynch back in May. Court documents show he believed she was having an affair. Family tells us they are desperate to learn where Lynch's body is. Last night, a judge denied Glasper bond on the murder charge.
At the moment, Marquise Rochard Glasper remains in custody, with a bond set at $400,000. The case continues to unfold, and each new piece of evidence that emerges brings more questions to light. Brittany Barron, a 31-year-old woman from New Hampshire, became embroiled in a horrific chain of events after her husband, Armando Barron, discovered she was having an affair with her co-worker, Jonathan Amaral. According to police reports, Armando's reaction to this revelation quickly escalated into extreme violence. Armando's rage erupted as he brutally assaulted Brittany after learning of her infidelity. Reports state that he physically beat and strangled her during an outburst fueled by jealousy and betrayal. Armando seized Brittany's phone and used it to impersonate her, texting Jonathan Amaro to arrange a meeting.
Aaron told police her husband Armando was looking through her phone when he found text.
They transported Jonathan's body over 200 miles to a remote location. During the drive, Brittany described being consumed by fear and helplessness, unable to defy her husband's orders.
Killing his wife's co-worker after he found out they were texting. Brittany's testimony comes after pleading guilty to 3 counts of falsifying evidence.
As details of the case emerged, the community was left grappling with the disturbing nature of the crime. Brittany's role in the events sparked heated debate. In rural Iowa, the life of Amy Mullis came to a tragic end on November 10, 2018, when she was found dead on her family's farm. Her husband, Todd Mullis, claimed she had fallen onto the rake while working on the property, but as investigators dug deeper, his story began to unravel. Todd Mullis was a farmer with no prior criminal history, and at first his explanation seemed plausible.
If some sort reviewed that tape and determined that none of those things were said, I can't make a finding of that today. There's no evidence of that today. By the same token, there was some reference to what jurors may have said afterwards about whether they heard those same words or did not, or considered them in any way.
Further analysis of the scene showed that Amy's body was found in a position inconsistent with an accidental fall. The rake had likely been deliberately placed in a way that would ensure fatal injuries. The investigation soon turned its focus to Todd Mullis. Police discovered troubling details about his relationship with Amy. There were reports of marital tension, and Todd had been having an affair. Todd Mullis is now serving a life sentence in an Iowa prison, where he will pay for the cold-blooded murder of his wife, Amy Mullis. This case serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the truth isn't as simple as it seems.